Welcome to Trivial Debates.
Welcome everyone to this month's edition of Trivial Debates, the ultimate pop culture challenge. We have some awesome new debates this month. Each week, our panelists will be judged and scored on their arguments for facts, passion, and creativity. Our panelists this week are Kevin Millard.
Hello.
We also have Jane Mader.
Hello. Hello.
And we also have Jeff Mader.
Salutations.
So how the show works is there's going to be 6 rounds plus a speed round. The speed round is only going to be played by our top 2 panelists. The categories are movies, TV, music, sports, history, and a wild card. So encourage everyone to be passionate about their arguments, but not personally mean to one another. Or as much as possible. Keep in mind you can always skip to a new debate by looking at the time, indexes, and description, and go to the battles that interest you most. You can also follow us on Facebook and YouTube. All links and information can be found in the description. Or make sure to check our other podcasts as well. Live Long and Podcast, our Star Trek TV and movie reviews, and Super Mader Brothers, podcasting scripted and reality TV reviews. With that all said, let's get started this week.
Okay. Here we go.
So Dave did change the format a little bit. I think we're only allowing 1 minute and 30 seconds for your opening arguments this week.
That's right. We're doing 1 minute and 30 seconds each, and I will be keeping track here, and you will hear a little if it doesn't work. So is everyone hearing that?
Yep.
Yep, we got that.
We're not hearing it. Can you guys give us 1 second to refresh? Sure. Okay, and we're back, and with the I can vocalize it. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so with no further ado, let's get started.
Okay, I guess we're going to start with the movie round, and you can see the question is already up there. So what movie?
Go first.
Sorry?
Who goes first?
Who goes first? I got to say the question first.
This is true.
So what movie can you honestly say the book was better than the movie? And I guess we're going to start in the top left and just go around. So let's start with Jeff.
Okay. Okay. I picked this book, V for Vendetta. Okay. So what I did with here was I picked a graphic novel. The movie, even though I love the movie and I adore the movie, the graphic novel does a lot of things that the movie isn't capable of doing. So that's why I picked this. And the question really comes down to this for me, that you're saying like it's on the premise that movies are automatically better than the book. Now, if you're basing something off something else, all the heavy lifting, all the hard work, all the character development was really done by the person who wrote the book. So for me, even though I love the movie, I love even the content and the creation that came from the graphic novel because of a lot of the things that the movie was not able to do. For instance, it was not able to do a good job at humanizing everyone. Even like in the movie, the bad guys are all shown to be like this authoritarian, fascist bad guys. They're just evil. There's nothing to them. In the graphic novel, they spend a lot more time explaining that these people have families, that they have regular lives, that even though they are bad, they are just regular people just like everybody else, which is kind of the whole point of the book. V is, befriends this character Evie, who's much younger in the book, in order to kind of point out that she's coming into age. She's coming into the adulthood of society and starting to learn what society is. And, is that it? I don't think it's hard to explain the context between two different things in only 90 seconds.
Seems short.
But I digress.
Well, with that buzzer, I guess we're moving on to Jane.
All right.
what?
Okay. Time started?
Yep,
All right.
time started.
I chose 50 Shades of Grey. It's a romantic novel, an erotic novel, mainly geared to women. I'm not saying it's a great novel or a great movie, but I'm just focusing on the difference between the book and the movie. I think the book's way better because it's, I think women generally our brains are wired to get off on reading stuff versus visual. Men are more visual. I know this is generalization, but I think there's a reason why romantic erotic novels are so big with women. So I think you spend 50 hours reading this book and you get lots of sex scenes. So I read that. You're alone, you're having fun. And then you go to the movies and you're with a bunch of people and there's 2 sex scenes. So 2-3 sex scenes. You can't do much with that. You don't see everything. It's not your imagination. So that's why I'm saying that the book is way better. On BDSM, your imagination can fill in the blanks. So that's my argument.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty good argument. Let's move on to Kevin then.
All right, I picked Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I knew it.
I picked this because it's not a bad movie. The original isn't great. The new one isn't great. What you have is Douglas Adams is such a great storyteller, and he has such a great sort of turn of phrase, and it's completely lost in a movie. His stories, you don't get what's actually in his mind from the movie. It's not. It doesn't translate well into visuals. It's all supposed to be your imagination and his writing style. I don't even know what else. That's just it. It's not as good.
It's just not as good.
It's just not as good. It's not as enjoyable.
Okay, so now you can proceed with open debate. Chris, questions?
You know what, Jeff? Yours was a graphic novel. I'm not sure. I've never read V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
The only book here that let's say, be honest, I haven't read 50 Shades of Grey either. Nor have I seen the movie.
I would hope not.
Kevin's book is the only one that I've actually read. But what do you mean by a graphic novel? Are you is it a comic book? I don't know.
Yeah, so here, I'll show you. That's kind of what it looks like.
Okay.
All right. And then you can see, like, right in that picture right there, see the V? That's actually in the movie right there. That shows you, like, how faithful they were to the graphic novel as far as visually, but story-wise, they changed a lot of different things within the movie that maybe didn't quite go with what the author wanted. He even said that. Alan Moore made that point. So for me, it's just like it's such a heavy context of what the book is about that the movie had to dumb things down in a good versus evil fairy tale style story in order for it to work as a movie, because really it should have been probably a mini series, and they would have had a lot more time to do what they needed to do with the story. But because of the way the story is, it made more sense to do a movie. Same thing with Watchmen. You can't tell that story in 3 hours. It's impossible.
Right. All right. And Jane, did you actually go and see this movie in the theaters, or?
I did go see the movie in the theaters. So I read all of the 3 books. They were horrible. Like, I can't remember how many times she said his long, graceful fingers at the piano. It was just horrible. But like, it was the worst writing ever. But like,
so you're saying your book was horrible?
The book was horrible, but we're debating whether a book is better than the movie. So the book compared to the movie was fantastic in that you got to sit there and read slowly these sex scenes, but you go to the movie and it goes so quickly. and there's the rating system. Like you can't have an X movie. It was like rated R. I don't know. So what your mind does while you're reading it makes it so much better than a movie could ever be.
Okay. And Kevin, for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie, who do you think was the most disappointing character?
Oh, the most disappointing character. I like most of the actors in this movie. The most disappointing character, probably Zaphod. I love Sam Rockwell, but he didn't. The character doesn't seem as true to the book as the others, maybe.
Right. So is it time to announce a winner on this one?
Well, do you have a decision, Chris?
I do actually.
Okay. Well, then please give us your judgment then.
I'm going to have to give this one to Kevin,
Kevin Millar.
simply for the reason that he chose Zaphod Beeblebrox, and I kind of agree with him. Like, come on, this is supposed to be a guy with like two heads and four arms, and your imagination can go wild when you're reading them. And then when you see him on screen, it's pretty disappointing.
All right. Okay. Well, then let's go on to the next round. We'll go on to TV and agenda and next.
So this one, I guess we're just going to go around. We're going to start with Jane this time.
Okay, going to Jane.
Well, ask Jane. What do you think is the greatest TV theme song of all time?
Okay, I went for an obvious Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I just think that it's a great TV song because it gives you the premise. It lets you know what's happening. It's a great jingle. It's happy. It's rhyming. It tells you exactly what you're getting into. Even if you haven't watched the show and you're going into the third season, it easily brings in new viewers. What else? They actually when this came out in 1992, they released this song in Europe and it hit the charts for 10 weeks. It's like topping for number 4, so that's impressive. I don't know how many other TV theme songs are top of the pop charts. What else? Oh, it's good because it tells you like where it is, Bel Air, it's California. It tells you Uncle Phil and your aunt and your cousin. I don't know. That's why I like it. I think we can all sing it too. That's important.
I think so.
Okay.
All right, so let's go around and we'll move on to Kevin.
All right, I picked the X-Files. Even though there's no words in this song, it conveys exactly what this show is about. It's a perfect opening. It's immediately recognizable, and it just fits. You know that when you hear the theme, you know you're going to see something about aliens or supernatural or whatever. It's eerie, and it just works. It works for the show. It's probably the best opening I've ever seen until Supernatural.
Who's that laughing in the background? Okay, that's it. I guess we'll move on.
That's it.
Jeff?
Okay. I picked Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Cool.
Again, much like Kevin, no music. For me, like it's not about the most mass appeal. For me, it's like I throw on a lot of different TV shows. I watch a lot of different ones. A lot of them, most of the songs I find annoying, and I just want to skip through. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I always want to listen to it. I always I have to watch the opening sequence where the comet comes by. I have to watch the Defiant come from behind the station, the wormhole. Just the music perfectly goes with just the way it's edited, the way they show the title cards. Everything about it for me is perfect. Exactly what the show's it needed for the show. They never change it from other than the Defiant from season 1 to season 7. It's gold.
Yeah, we have a comment over here saying the DS9 theme song is too long. What's your rebuttal to that?
I disagree. I think it needs to be that long. I just like it. It doesn't bother me. I get some other people might not like it, but I might find the X-Files one too long or whatever. There's lots of them that are too long in your opinion. But if you like it, I want more of it. I want it to be longer. That's my rebuttal.
My answer is it's not long enough.
You can't sing along to either of your songs. They're lame. Sorry. Even though I loved Star Trek and I love X-Files. Those are two of my favorite shows in the whole wide world. No. Not a party tune. Not party
Fresh
tune.
Prince of Bel-Air. He's just going about the dice in his mirror, and he's he's
See,
traveling
we all know
around. I know it. Doesn't mean I like it.
Makes you want to dance.
And as for X-Files is just like yeah.
Well, Kevin, there's a question for you then. They're kind of making fun of your song.
It's not my song.
What instrument is even that? That doo-doo? Like, what instrument is that?
I have no idea. No idea. Who cares? It's still awesome.
The one thing I will agree with Kevin that is X-Files is immediately recognizable. Yeah. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is one of those ones where I skip it. I do not need to listen to it. I've heard it. I find it annoying the more I hear it.
Oh no.
So that's how I feel about the Fresh Prince. X-Files, I mean, it's good.
It just fits with the show. I feel like it's perfect for the show that you're about to watch.
I agree. It is definitely suited for the show, but so is Deep Space Nine's theme.
Yeah, but I think a few parties where someone mentions the Fresh Prince and people just break out singing it. Yeah. Like, that's a success to me.
Fresh Prince is always on like the top 10 lists of best TV theme songs. Deep Space Nine is never on those themes, but I disagree with all of those lists. Bullshit.
Okay, I think I've got a ruling on this one. Gonna have to give this one to Jane.
To Jane.
Thank you, Judge.
You know,
you should thank me.
When that song comes on, you can't help but singing it, even if you don't really like that kind of music. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just end up singing it. I don't sing either of your songs. I don't sing the X-Files. I wouldn't.
Which one's next?
I wouldn't have that in my playlist.
Music. I think it's music.
But you don't need. It's not. You don't need to like throw it on to listen to it. When you watch the show.
Yeah.
What kind of lame parties are you at, Jane?
Well, I do live with Dave Mader, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know exactly what kind of parties Jane is at.
I go to 50 Shades of Grey parties. I go to Fresh Prince parties.
You probably do watch DS9 a lot more than Fresh Prince at that house, but that's okay. Oh, I guess we're moving on to the music question.
That's how this works.
See, it's up there now. Thanks, Kevin. Maybe you should host.
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
All right. So here's an interesting question for you guys. Because we do know that annoying song that the ice cream truck plays when it's coming down the street. It attracts all the kids. You know, the kids go running. They ask their parents for money. If there was such thing as a beer truck, what song would it be playing to announce its presence, to make you want to run out there and get a beer? And we'll start this one off with Kevin.
Well, I'm glad you said what will make you want to run out there and get a beer, because my choice is "You Gotta Fight for Your Right" by the Beastie Boys. When you hear, it's not about beer. I was looking for a song about beer, and then I came up on this one, and I'm like, this is it. You hear that music. You got to fight for your right to party. Like it amps everybody up, and you're ready to have a beer and have a good time.
I guess so. Could you see all the men running?
Always, just like kids going for the ice cream truck.
All right.
For sure.
Okay. Let's move on to Jeff.
Okay, I picked Billy Currington, Pretty Good at Drinking Beer. Country song. Because when I looked up songs about beer, 99% of them were country songs.
Yeah.
So then I decided to pick the most country of the country songs. And it's just a guy going pretty good at drinking beer. Oh, you know, that would announce to all the alcoholics and just look around. It's a pretty chill song. So you don't run after the beer truck. You're more like, what's going on over there? Okay, I might have a beer. All right. Like, that's kind of what it is for me. I mean, I can give you a little sample.
We'd love to hear it.
No, not too many seconds. We don't want copyright infringements here.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
You get the idea. You get the point. It's fair use if I'm making a point with it, I think. So they shouldn't be able to do that.
I did actually, when you sent that answer in, Jeff, I did actually have to look up your song because out of the three of you, yours is the only song I didn't know.
Which means I have like no chance of winning this point.
Well, there was the point that I took the time out of my day to actually look it up.
Right. Thank you.
So I think it's a fairly decent answer. And
Right.
so for this one, let's move on to Jane.
Okay, so I chose a song from 1993 called "Pork Soda." It's by Primus,
I know this
and
one.
you may be familiar with.
Pandering.
Pork soda. I looked up the definition of pork soda just for some, context. Pork soda is the slop that results from the drainage of draft beers into a bar into a bucket. So it's kind of that beer that no one drinks. So I like Primus, but I do find this song could be taken as annoying to some people. So I think there's a reason why ice cream trucks play annoying songs, because it gets people to want to eat ice cream. And I think an annoying song will get people to want to come out and drink beer. It might drive them to drink beer. I can give you just a little bit of this pork soda song, just so you get my point of view.
What can you do? Grab yourself a can of pork soda. You'll be feeling just fine. Like sugar on the house.
So I think it works that you will sell lots of beer because you will sell your extra beer that fell into a bucket to the Primus fans, and you will annoy non-Primus fans so much that they're going to have to drink all your beer. So it's a good business model.
That's a good one, Jane.
Oh, you would think so. You know, what are you saying? You don't like Billy Currington more than Primus? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Chris?
Primus for every answer.
This question.
Primus.
This question is really not about my favorite band. If it was, I guess the point would have to go to Jane, but it's not. You guys have any rebuttals? Do you want to talk about the other person's song?
I've never heard Pork Soda. What was Kevin's song again? It was Fight for Your Right. Good song. More about like partying. I don't know how much it would announce the beer truck coming.
A party on its way with beer. It's a mobile party.
Right, but you have to fight for your right for that. I mean,
we don't have beer trucks right now. We need them. We got to fight for our rights.
But if it existed, why would they announce it? That's my.
Okay, well, you got me on that technicality.
And what was your song, Jeff? I forgot already.
Billy Currington, pretty good at drinking beer.
Huh.
I picked the countryest of the most country songs because every song about beer is pretty much a country song, unless it's like an obscure Pork Soda or Fight for Your Right to Party. I've never thought of as a beer song. It's not, but
The party.
it's party,
Yeah.
which you do drink, but you do other things when you party. You don't only,
Well, you can do other
Drink
things
beer.
while you're at the beer truck. They just don't sell them.
It's true.
No, I think Yeah, the whole annoying thing. I don't think either of your songs are necessarily annoying to people. There's a reason ice cream trucks put out annoying music. It's got to be my
Most
song.
people don't like country music.
Jody Simpson says James Mader.
Yeah, Jane's got a one-track argument here. She's like, Primus is great. Chris, you know I'm right.
Mike Randall says Primus sucks, and he's absolutely right.
See, it forced Mike Crandall to drink. If you had to listen to that for 10 minutes, be
There
like,
you go.
grab
If
me
I-
a beer, man. I can't take it anymore.
If I heard country music blasting through the streets, I would know the beer's coming. Now, I wouldn't be happy about it because you shouldn't be happy about it. It should you'd be like, why is that happening? That would be weird if there was a mobile beer truck just driving around the neighborhood like the ice cream truck, like this question, the whole premise is, right? You would be concerned.
Well, before I give my decision, I want to tell you that none of you got my golden buzzer song.
99 bottles of beer.
No, I'll play a little bit of it for you. Imagine the beer truck coming and you hear this. You guys hear that?
Yep.
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 Yeah, that would have been my golden buzzer song.
Oh. Sorry, we didn't pick it.
But hearing all the arguments, I'm gonna have to go with Kevin on this one. I mean, Jane, you know I love Primus, but
I know.
You didn't even.
Yeah, I love the Beastie Boys. I get it.
You like the Beastie
Song,
Boys?
Kevin.
Beastie Boys wins this time.
My only argument with that is I'd like to listen to that song by the Beastie Boys. It's not annoying.
Yeah, I don't want to be annoyed before I go drinking.
But the question said, isn't the do you think the ice cream truck song is annoying, Chris? Because
I don't think the ice cream truck would necessarily have to be annoying. It would just have to tell you, hey, beer's coming.
oh, okay, that's how the question was read. So that's kind of how I went with it.
Yeah. I mean, the ice cream truck song is annoying. The beer truck song doesn't have to be.
Right, that's true.
Just for those keeping score, it's 2 points for Kevin, 1 point for Jane. Jeff is yet to get on the board.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but last week Jeff came back and won the whole thing from
He
behind.
did, so don't underestimate Jeff.
No, he's a tough competitor right here.
All right.
I do not think Jeff is out of this at all. So let's move on to the sports round then. And this time we're going to start with Jeff.
We'll read the question.
What sport would you consider has to have the best athletes?
Okay, I feel like I definitely am going to win this one because I picked free solo rock climbing. Okay, if you are not a good athlete, you're dead. So if you're asking what sport has to have the best
I
athlete,
didn't read that.
it's free solo rock climbing. It's not even close. No other sport. I don't care how hard it is to throw a ball into a hoop or kick a ball through a thing or how hard do you get hit by a tackle or UFC fighting. This is the hardest sport to do. If you slip, you're dead. You have to have perfect technique, perfect strength, perfect endurance, because anything short of perfect, you're dead. I don't even know if I don't even say anything else. That's I mean, watch free solo Alex Honnold, and you'll see how hard something like that is to do. And you can't beat it. There's nothing. I thought biathlon maybe because it's the endurance is hard. The free solo rock climbing is everything. It's strength, endurance, speed, mental. It's physical, everything.
Okay. With that, let's move on to Jane.
Okay, I chose ultra marathoning or ultra running. This is not, I don't know how well known it is to some people. It's defined as any running race over 42.169 kilometers, so more than a standard marathon. I'm impressed by these athletes. I looked up athlete, and it's defined by physical strength, agility, and stamina. So these marathons typically are 100 miles a kilometer, 160 kilometers or longer, generally 100 miles. They can be a race for 24 hours straight, 48 hours straight. They can span 6 days. They go from the Arctic to Antarctica to the Yukon to the deserts to the Brazilian jungles, climbing mountains, going off trail, jumping over crocodiles, and it's just crazy what these athletes go through. Um, the amount they push their brains, their physical, their strength to the very limit. And it kind of feels like the ancient Greeks, what the Olympics were back then, to now this crazy athleticism that we're seeing from these ultra marathoners just blows me away. So that's why I consider them the best.
Sounds like you've done some great research there, Gene. With that, let's move on to Kevin.
All right, I picked gymnastics because I think it gives you the best all-around athlete. You need everything to do gymnastics. You need not just physical strength and endurance and stamina and agility, but you also need mental concentration. It's actually a lot like Jeff's answer. The two require exactly the same sort of set of skills. And you don't just get good at one thing. You have several different events, and you have to do them all to be at the top of your game.
It's interesting. Okay, follow-up question for Jeff. In this solo rock climbing, do they use ropes at all? I just don't know. I need to know.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's free solo rock climbing is when you go without a rope, and you have to climb to the top of whatever you're climbing on top of. If it's a mountain or a huge cliff, usually. So Alex Honnold did use El Capitan, which is in Yosemite National Park. It's like taller than the Burj Khalifa, and he climbed it in under 4 hours. It's free solo, no ropes. So that means any mistake he made, he was dead. Okay, so like when you say, like, for me, what this question is asking is you have to, this sport, you have to be the best athlete to do it. So and exactly what Kevin was saying, you need mental concentration, you need you need physical ability, technique, endurance, all these things, right? So like there is rock climbing where you use ropes, and usually you do it with another person. So that's like called paired climbing with ropes or whatever. And then there's also another type of soloing that you do with yourself with ropes, which a guy did the same mountain. It took him 23 hours to do by himself with ropes. So it's a lot more safe, but a lot more difficult endurance wise. But if you do free solo, it's a lot more scary because you can slip and die at any time.
All right. It does sound scary.
Yes, it does.
Jane, you run I never heard of ultra marathoning before. I didn't know people ran 160 kilometers.
Yeah, it's been around since about the 1700s.
Yeah.
But got gained popularity in the last little bit.
Yeah, doesn't sound fun.
No. See, I think when you do rock climbing, you're going to do that on a nice sunny afternoon generally. This is like you're in the freaking Antarctic and you're the same athlete. So you have to be conditioned to run in the Arctic, run at 3,000 feet, run in Amazon rainforest. Like that takes a lot of conditioning to flip from that kind of environment to another. Like that's hard on your body. So these people are just elite athletes.
Okay, and Kevin with gymnastics.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most gymnasts train from when they're very young.
Yes.
So their bodies should get accustomed to it. And so, what makes your sport? What makes you have to be so athletic to do that? If like an 8-year-old girl can do it.
Oh, an 8-year-old girl doesn't do it at Olympic levels, and because you're just starting out at 8, Chris. It's not like a girl does a somersault on the grass and all of a sudden she's a gymnast. It takes incredible amounts of strength, and I think that gymnastics would a training in gymnastics would translate to other sports easier. Like you would have an easier time transitioning from, say, a gymnastics to rock climbing because you'd have that strength already. You use that kind of stuff in gymnastics, and that could be said for any sport. It's just the best sort of all-around conditioning.
I get it. And I think I have a decision on this one.
All right.
Mostly because it was argued the best, I'm going to have to give this one to Jeff.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
The fact that, like, you make one mistake and you're dead, I think Jeff has to take it.
Yep. I get it.
I'm on the board.
So now the recap is 2 points, Kevin, 1 point, Jane, 1 point, Jeff. 2 rounds in the main game to go. So I guess we'll be moving on now.
It's anybody's game here.
The history.
Anybody's game.
Oh, right. That's true. Oh,
I guess
I'll
we're
put
going
that
to
on this
move
one.
on to the history question right now. Interesting one. Could we be writing history right now? Who do you think is the worst president the U.S. has ever had? And I think it's Jane's turn to go first.
Yeah, I think so. I went with what comes to everyone's mind. I think first I went with Trump. I know the argument is going to be you going with how we feel right now, but I feel I kind of looked at 3 categories which I feel jump out about presidents: like a crook, a bigot, and in just plain incompetence. There are other presidents that can fill these categories, but I think Trump fills them all. A president is supposed to lead the country, protect our Constitution. Trump is not doing that at all. I think we all can give a huge, massive list of everything he's done. You can look at like Buchanan. Well, yeah, that was slavery. He didn't do well on that. Well, Trump has done a million that we could pick up. Well, thousands of bigoted things. Even this morning, I saw he tweeted pro-white supremacists. Like, it's a daily thing. We are not even used to how bad he is now. What else has he done? He's gone against the press for libel laws. He's against the press that just erodes the Constitution. Like, I don't know. I just could go on. I want to see everyone else's arguments and then chat a little bit more about this.
Sounds good. With that, let's move on to Kevin.
All right, this question, I don't care. I picked Ronald Reagan because I think I had a few reasons. He really ramped up the war on drugs and really ramped up like the putting people in jail for minor crimes and all that stuff. But for the main reason was Reaganomics, the trickle-down economics that really is what divides that country right now was started with him. And he made it popular. He was a popular president. People liked him. And now I think the division that you see between Republican and Democrat, the way it is today, is all a result of him. Also, he was way into astrology, and that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Too bad Dave's not here to argue. With that, I guess we'll move on to Jeff.
Me and Kevin are on the same page here a lot. Kind of funny. I picked George W. Bush, another puppet president that wasn't really quite in charge, yet some of the most heinous shit went on during his presidency. Well, I could talk for several hours about why George W. Bush, I feel like, is one of the worst presidents. For me, it's just like, again, what Jane was saying, like he ignored the Constitution. He started illegal wars. He read a book upside down in a classroom while the country was being attacked. I mean, he's just as dumb as Trump. I mean, there's so many things with George W. Bush. I mean, he started the whole torture thing, Guantanamo Bay. He made torture cool and normal. And it's like everything about George W. Bush. Now he's going to football games with Ellen. Like, as our society is like saying to ourselves, like, what are we doing? Like, why we look at George W. Bush as a better president than Trump, and they're both terrible. Like, they're all terrible for the most part. If you go back and look at all presidents, so when I read this question, I was like, it's so hard to pick. to pick one president, and because they're all guilty of terrible things. The problem is, like what Jane's saying with Trump, is that he's the most offensive to everybody because he has no problem saying whatever he wants to say. George W. Bush was the most like, dude, you was stupid and just like, what? You're not even running the country, and everybody knows it. Sorry, and I just want to make one final point about Reagan. Reagan was senile toward the end of his presidency, and Nancy was basically running the country. So, I mean, they're all bad.
Yeah.
It's just whichever one Chris thinks is the worst. I guess. I don't know.
I agree that they're all bad. I think this one's between Jane and this one's between Jane and Jeff.
Can I say something? Just a little rebuttal. I would say that neither George W. or Ronald Reagan were impeached. I think Jeff made my argument saying that we do kind of wish we had George W. back. He'd be a better president than Trump. So I think I win there. And Reagan was likable. I thought a lot of people liked Reagan. And Puppet, at least they were not puppets for foreign powers. Putin. So.
Okay, well, I disagree with the idea that like George W. Bush is better because I wouldn't want either guy. I wouldn't want George W. Bush running the country right now. I wouldn't want Trump. I wouldn't want any of these people. They're all in the same club. So for me, like picking which one's the worst is kind of to miss the point. And I kind of reject the question.
I do find it interesting that we all picked Republicans.
Yeah, we all did pick Republicans.
Okay.
Jody thinks James Buchanan.
James
Buchanan, yeah, but he just was against. Well, he was against slavery, but he did nothing about it and caused basically civil war because he didn't have any action. Anyway.
All right, Chris, do you have your ruling?
So the only other president that almost got impeached during my time was Clinton, and that was just for getting a blowjob. I think Trump.
I was relying about that blowjob.
Relying about getting a blowjob. I think Trump.
What a weird thing to impeach a president for. Lying about getting a blowjob. It's sort of weird to lie about.
Mine gets away with grabbing pussies.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Trump grabs pussies. He wins. Jane, you get this point.
I think that was an easy win.
I knew you had picked it before I had picked mine, so I was like, all right.
Yeah, I didn't even try.
Did you pick Reagan first, Kevin? Or
yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
Kevin did. You know what's amazing? This is the first time all three of you have sent in your answers, and there were no duplicates.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were no duplicates.
And I only put mine in like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I got to start.
Okay, last question. Last question of the main round. And I think we got a good race going. 2 for Jane, 2 for Kevin, and 1 for Jeff.
Right.
Okay, so we'll move on to the wildcard question then. What is the most fun game available when you need to pass some time on your cell phone? And I believe it is Kevin's turn to start.
Yeah. I don't really play games on my cell phone, Chris. So I picked Stardew Valley because it's the one I know. And I do really like it. It's you have a farm and you're trying to be a farmer and you're trying to make the farm as big as possible. And it's like a simulation, but then there's a town next to your farm and you have to like befriend the people in the village. And it's a good game to pass the time because you can just do a few things and then stop and do whatever. There's no point that you have to stop at. So it's a good casual kind of, you have a few minutes to fill kind of game.
I get it. Yeah, let's see what Jeff has to say about this.
I also, like Kevin, do not play games on my cell phone because I do not want to hurt my neck for the most part. I know I can get apparatuses, but then I'm that guy. Anyway, I picked word. I picked Wordscapes. Not because I play it, because I watch my dad play it, and he plays it all the time, and he seems pretty enthused with it. And I think that's kind of the. I mean, if my dad is playing a game on his cell phone, there's something's working, because my dad doesn't play video games or anything really when it comes to games, as far as like, unless it's cards. So for him to play a video game at all really should just prove my point. So Wordscapes, I mean, you got everything. You get to make different words out of the same letters. I mean, that's kind of fun. It's smart. Keeps your mind active. I mean, yeah, that's going to pass the time pretty good, because you're thinking. That's what the human body needs to do. It needs to think, solve puzzles. Building a farm, I don't know. I mean, I hate phone games, so I don't play them. But I mean, that's really my stance on this. I don't care if I need to win this point, but at the same time, this question is like, I don't care. Like, I want to win because other people I know play this game. I'm sure one of the three of you plays Wordscapes, and
No.
No.
I don't.
okay, well,
I do.
I know what it is.
yeah, all right, perfect. I got Ashley on my side. I can prove my point.
Coming from Jody here, Snake on the Nokia brick phone.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
It's probably a really good one right there, actually. Used to love that game. If I can dig up my Nokia phone, it probably still works somewhere. So let's move on to Jane.
All right, I chose Tetris. I don't really play games on my phone either, but this is the one game I think Dave can attest to that I do play all the time. It's a great, you got 5 minutes, throw on Tetris. Even my opponent, Jeff, I think argued for Tetris a few weeks ago, so I know he's on board with it. It was created in 1984, so 36 years old. So that has a lot of longevity. It was originally created. The developer said he created it to get people to be more comfortable with computers and working with them. So I think it helped a lot of people just get more comfortable, start using their computers. It's currently used for mental health. It helps your brain activity. It reduces stress. People with depression use it. What else? And you can use it one-handed. It's not a lot of commitment kind of games. I think that's really popular. I saw there's been 200 million copies sold. That's quite a bit. So I think it's popular. What else? So yeah, it improves your brain, cognitive. I don't know. I think it just wins. That's my argument.
Okay, any rebuttals? Kevin, your game is the only one I don't know. But I did actually look it up, and maybe I'll give it a go one time. I don't know. It kind of looks like Sim City or something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's very much in that vein. It's
Yeah.
like a simulation. Yeah.
Jeff doesn't seem to have much else to say. He doesn't even play.
Well, I do have one thing to say about Tetris.
Yep.
That if I'm going to play Tetris, I want it on a Game Boy or like I want it on a handheld device more than my phone, because I don't like the touchscreen aspect of it. For me, like it's got to be tactile to play Tetris for me. I don't even like playing it on the PC. So, yeah.
I played on my phone. It's a one touch, and it just switches
I
them
feel that
around.
way about every single game ever. That's why I don't play games on my phone.
You got plenty of time, but if you want to have more rebuttal, but
I mean, we all clearly don't like phone games. For us to even want to talk about this conversation, it's kind of like we're like none of us even want to argue. I mean, Jane's arguing for a game that came out on the NES, like it's just this universal game. I'm arguing for a game I only picked because my dad likes to play it, and if it can get my dad to play it, it's got to be.
And my game, as soon as I realized that the kids had already bought this game on Steam, I immediately moved to playing it on the computer. And not on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, see there, see that? It's like well, I wouldn't want to play Civilization on my phone. I probably want to, you know.
Anyway,
I think I got an answer for this one.
okay.
And I don't know what to do after this because I'm giving this point to Jeff.
Oh, no, it's a tie.
Okay, so we have a tiebreaker. We have a three-way tie,
if
actually.
the game on his phone, then that's it. Argument.
I don't even have a game on my phone.
I don't either. It's gone. I deleted it.
It's a waste of
Tetris
space.
is the only game on anyone's phone right here, right now.
That's funny.
So how does this work?
Well, no. Well, Chris has to come up with some kind of a tiebreaker.
Between all of us, we all have.
Well,
to.
yeah, this doesn't happen very often, but it happened this time. So we have a three-way tie. So, Chris, you have to come up with some kind of a new question, and they're all going to have to argue something.
But then there's still going to be two people tied.
It's true.
Basically, you have to pick the best two, the top two of the three arguments. The worst argument is out,
Okay, God, that makes sense.
and you can make it a wild card, Chris. You can make it whatever you want.
Okay. Man, this is a tough one. Okay, so since we're in this quarantine right now, we can only associate with 10 people at a time. What's the most fun thing to do outside of the house with your 10 people? We'll start with Jeff. He's up in the.
Oh, God. What's the most fun thing to do with 10 people during the quarantine? Is that the question?
Outside of your house?
Yeah, outside.
Stand around and do nothing because there's nothing to do. Like,
I got it. Okay, pool party.
That can be
Pool party. Okay, you got the barbecue going, you got the tunes going, you got the pool. Yeah, you got your 10 favorite people out there. I mean, what more do you need? I mean, you got all the great things about life. You got tunes, you got human interaction, you got swimming. It's hot outside right now, especially in the summer. If you're gonna do anything, I think you do a pool party. You get the ice cream going, ice cream cake. Maybe you order the ice cream truck to come over and they play the beer song that we discussed earlier. We get the beer truck to come. Maybe we get that going on. That would be, I don't think you need to leave far from the house. You want to be safe. You want to be, it's a pandemic on. You don't want to be going out, to mass gatherings with your 10 people. You want to keep your 10 people. You only like 10 people anyway. Do you really like 10 other people? No, you only like your 10 people. So you keep them in a pool party, confined, outdoor environment. You have beers, you have fun, you swim, you do what you got to do.
good one. Let's move on to Jane.
Okay, so this is something that I was with friends yesterday and we're actually planning. They live up in Greensville and they have like this dilapidated tennis court. And we are planning to have a dance party, kind of similar to a pool party. They do have a pool there as well, so we could use the pool, but it's not primarily about the pool. We're gonna combine two groups of 10 and have dancing spots on big circles on the court. So you can dance within your circle. Two groups of 10 don't interact but can see each other. Go to a screen to have dancing, like music videos or something. Have a bonfire. So it's kind of 20 but 10 wide open spaces, and I think we all deserve a dance party. And invitations are still could come out depending on if I win or not. So this question, anyway, that's it.
Move on to Kevin.
camping. Go camping with 10 friends, except for Dave because he doesn't like it. But
No.
although that might make it more fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're out with friends. You got a fire. It's a lot like the pool party, but just camping in the woods or at a campground. Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, I don't know what else to say. Down again.
Kevin's face is frozen like that. It's hilarious.
Oh.
Amazing. I can't see it, so I wish I could.
It's the best. Oh, Dave got rid of it.
Oh, no, he dropped off. Well, he'll be back.
He dropped off. Okay. For me, like you can go do the pool party thing. I mean, if you're in the woods camping, I mean, right now animals are getting more crazy. They might get more aggressive. I don't know.
Animals are crazy.
I don't know. This is a weird question there, Chris. I mean, what's the most fun thing to do?
Yeah.
There's really nothing to do.
You put me on.
So I mean,
to make a question.
So I think Jane kind of stole my answer, but just added dancing.
And I stole your answer, but took away the pool.
Took away the pool. And it's funny you bring that up because Amanda and I were like, Jay, Dave, we should go camping. And everyone was like, yeah. And Dave was like, no.
We gotta get him camping.
So that's my argument against camping is some people might not like it.
All right.
True.
Some people are afraid of the water. Some people don't like to dance.
Some people are afraid of animals.
Oh, come on. Everyone likes to dance just a little. You don't have to dance. You can just kind of sway.
That would be fun. Kevin Millard, 1426.
Just sway.
Okay, well, I guess we got to move on to the speed round. It's going to be.
Who's in?
So who's moving on?
Who's moving on is
Moving on.
Jeff Mader made a comeback again. Full party.
Oh! So Jeff is moving on, and who was joining him?
Jane. They both got pools. Kevin's just.
Oh, the
I
water did it.
like camping.
I don't really.
See?
I don't really want to go. I don't really want to go sleep on the ground either with 10 of my friends.
Well, you get separate tents. You're not all sleeping together, Chris.
Well,
I think Chris would like that.
doesn't sound fun.
Okay, good.
Okay.
By the way, if any of you just chose ball hockey, you would have won because you can do that with 10 people.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. You could.
Yeah.
4-4.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're ready for the speed round?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
So Chris came up with these questions?
Chris came up with these questions,
Okay.
so these will have to be quick. Kevin, we're going to hide you, if that's okay.
Okay, yep.
Just to help keep this.
That's even better.
Dave, should I say the question first before you put it up so that the first one who jumps in?
Yeah, how does this work? I know I've listened.
Oh,
before,
hold
but
on. I
can't
have
quite
to
remember.
do this a weird way. Hold on. Hide, and show, and then
Probably.
Fresh Prince
oh,
dance.
there we go. That's the way I wanted it. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll say the question, and whoever says it first gets it. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
whoever says which answer they want of the two possible answers that Chris has predetermined.
Okay.
So you have to argue. If you want to give up, you can give up, but you forfeit the point.
To not argue at all?
Yeah, if you're just like, well, I don't want to argue B,
Okay.
then that's your right, but I wouldn't. You're giving up the point.
Not advisable.
Okay,
That's
here
why
we
you
go.
got to get the answer you want.
Okay,
Okay.
and
Movies. Here we go. Who's the better actor? Pauly Shore or Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan.
sorry, where's my question?
All right, you can argue it, Jane.
Okay,
You got it?
so do I have a time limit here? Or how does this work?
Make it speedy.
Just make it speedy? Okay. Hulk Hogan. Oh, we're having technical difficulties here. So I'll just continue talking. So Hulk Hogan, I would say, is a better actor because he was chosen to be in a Rocky film, which is a major studio film. And he did a fantastic job. He also is a big wrestler, very popular. And I think pretty much the WWE stuff is acting. So he's a long history of being an actor. Can I talk about Pauly Shore? Is that allowed? Versus Pauly Shore, which who knows what he did? I don't know. Jeff? MTV? Was he on MTV? He was annoying and on MTV.
Okay, I mean, I can say at least Pauly Shore was in at least one good movie. and because Pauly Shore was in the movie, and that's Encino Man. Encino Man with him and Brendan Fraser is a good rewatch. Go back and watch. It's funny. Hulk Hogan. Have you seen that? What's that one that he's in where he's like Mr. Mom, or like he's not Mr. Mom, but he's like oh man, there's a terrible movie. Suburban Commando. That's the one.
Never heard of it.
Oh my god, that is one of the worst movies and the worst performances. How people paid to put him in a movie at all makes no sense. Pauly Shore is at least funny. He's a good comedian. Hulk Hogan was never funny. I mean, he's just a goof. I mean, they were like, this guy's a big goof, eh? Let's put him in movies and see how it works. I mean, even Rocky is no defense either. I mean, there's some terrible Rocky movies.
I love Rocky. I love
Rocky 5 is awful. Rocky Balboa.
Okay, yeah, with that one guy, Rocky 5. Hulk
Hogan, I believe, was only in Rocky 3. I'm not sure.
Right. It's not that good of a movie.
Rocky movie, yeah.
Rocky 4 is much better, and Rocky 1 and 2 are obviously much better.
But there was comedy for sure in his wrestling career.
Speed round, Chris. You got to make a decision.
Okay, this one's going to Jeff.
Jeff. All right,
are you a fan of Encino Man?
Okay.
All right, second question. Who's the better host of The Price is Right, Bob Barker or Drew Carey?
Bob Barker.
All right, Jeff, you're first.
He's the classic. I grew up on Bob Barker. When Drew Carey came to it, I was like, why did you stop doing Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like, you had a thing. What are you doing? Bob Barker was the man. He was like, he figured out exactly how to do that show right. He perfected it. They should have just ended it. The show should have stopped. I mean, Drew Carey taking over that show was ridiculous. They never needed to do it. Sometimes things need to die. Like The Tonight Show should have died with Jimmy Carson. Like, some things need to kind of like, they did it the best. Okay, move on to call it something else.
Jane, any?
Okay, so I prefer Drew Carey in the sense that I love Bob Barker for sure as well, but then all the Me Too movement stuff came out about him. He was pretty slimy. I heard some stories about his ladies, so that changed my opinion on him. I haven't heard much scandal coming out about Drew Carey, so I find he's a much more likable host. So that's
Okay, this one goes to Jeff. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I was surprised I won that one.
Okay, so that means Jeff is now ahead by 2 points. Four categories to go. Moving on to the next round, which is music.
Who's a better singer, Ozzy Osbourne or Elton John?
Oh, Elton. Ozzy Osbourne sounds like you're a screeching old grandma. Like it's just like delusional. That's what I think when I think Ozzy Osbourne. Elton John has a young Ozzy. Are we talking about like now or like when they were in their prime? Whenever? I mean, Elton John in his prime was one of the best singers ever. Now he's different. His voice went deeper. I don't like it as much. Ozzy Osbourne doesn't know who he's talking to most of the time. So if we're talking about Ozzy Osbourne now, I would definitely rather watch Elton John. Back in the day, Elton John, I'd still, again, at any point in history, I'd rather listen to Elton John, who's the better singer, more phonetic.
All right, Ozzy Osbourne is a better singer. I feel that his voice hasn't degraded like Elton John's has, so it's a stronger voice all around. He just belted it out, where Elton John held back, was a little bit of, I'm a little afraid. No, Ozzy Osbourne, he just gave it all, and still going strong today.
Just so you know, they do have a song together right now. That's what inspired this question.
Oh.
Well,
I did not know that.
They do. They have a song together.
They got Ozzy up.
Oh yeah.
They got him out of bed.
Jane, you're not that good at the speed round. I'm gonna have to give this one to Jeff.
That's all right.
I bet you that Ozzy Osbourne doesn't even know that he did a song with Elton.
That was a hard one to argue.
So, Jane, you have to take these next three.
Oh no! Oh okay. God, sports.
Or Jeff will have
I'm
one.
afraid you're going to win this.
You won't be able to catch him. There.
What is more important to win the World Series, pitching or hitting?
Pitching.
Okay.
I'm giving Jane first pick. Here.
I think
She can
Jane-
pick whatever she wants.
To win the World Series, pitching. Absolutely. You want to do a fast pitch, a hard pitch, a sideways pitch, all of that. That's what matters. That I was a pitcher once for work, and I pitched, and I found that I was a make or break for every game that I played. Usually breaking, but it's a very important position.
And Jeff?
So I have to argue for hitting. I mean, I guess offense wins. More runs you score, the easier it is to win. I mean, you can't win by not scoring any points, or runs. The real answer here is managing, because another man needs to dress up in the same uniform as the players, chew tobacco, spit it out, and tell them to get out there and hit them on the butt. I mean, that's really what it takes. That's the most important thing to win the World Series.
Okay, this one goes to Jane. Jane, you won sports.
Oh, yeah, I won a
She's
sports
alive.
one. Oh my God, this is
Oh,
amazing.
fucking bad. Fucking bad, Adrian.
Yeah. Next one, history is just a yes or no question. Is the Second Amendment necessary in today's society?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
jeez.
I'll let
Heavy.
Jeff take that one.
Oh,
Hard.
God. In America, no, it's not. I mean, it's not necessary. I mean, they don't have it in Britain and a whole bunch of different countries. They don't have the right to own a gun. I mean, you can own one. They're not going to restrict you from it, but you shouldn't have like this right that is like infallible. I mean, I think it's the right to bear arms to oppress a tyrannical government. That's the whole purpose of it. The tyrannical government has nuclear weapons that the citizen can never make. What are you going to do? Shoot a nuclear weapon with your pea swatter? Like, I mean, it really has no effect. I mean, so people thinking they're protecting, you want to protect your family. Like, I understand that, but to actually go against the U.S. government or any government that has more power than you with just one gun, that's really not bearing arms. You'd have to bear the same arms against that government to be able to do that, right? Like, which is never going to happen. So, I mean, it's not good. Not good, the situation. When it was that thing, when the Second Amendment was written, we weren't in the situation we are today. So,
Jane?
So yes, I think it's important. I don't always trust governments. We see that right now with the American government. I think it's always, you can't let them get too powerful. They always have to have the fear of the people, that the people can rise up and take over. I agree that it shouldn't be every type of arms. Like when the Constitution was written, I think it was like muskets. So let's get it, like give us all some muskets. I know they have the nuclear thing, but they're never going to use that. So I think there should always be the power of the people to take arms up against the government. If we take that away, we can be in big trouble.
Alrighty. Going with Jane because Jeff, I think you actually argued Jane's point.
I know, I kind of did, but at the same time, the word necessary crosses me up there. Is it necessary? I guess. I mean, do we have the right to bear arms in Canada? I guess we do.
No, we don't. It's not an intrinsic
a
right.
right.
But,
It's not like a human right. But
it's a license thing. Okay, so
Last question. Which is better barbecued, a jumbo hot dog or a hamburger?
Hot dog.
I mean, okay, you go first.
A hot dog is better on a barbecue. I mean, what's more barbecue American? I know we're not American. Than a wiener, like street meat. That you go to the baseball game, you get a hot dog. You are on the street after a bar, and you get a hot dog. Like, you don't get a hamburger. So it's great. I don't know. I just think it's an easy argument. Hot dog, you can put tons of stuff on it. You can put chili on it. You can put sauerkraut, just ketchup if you want. Jeff?
I think a hot dog is one of those things that you don't want to see it being made, and there's a reason for that, because most of the things that are in a hot dog are like face tendons and cheeks and weird fucking sinew. And I think when you look at a hamburger, I mean, at least it's just the hamburger meat ground up, like you understand what it is. Like it's a lot more tasty too. I think it's a little juicier. I mean, you don't have to put as many toppings on it. I mean, you just really just need a good slab of cheese, a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of mayo, a little bit of ketchup, and I think you're good to go with the hamburger. You could add more, but with a hot dog, it's like you gotta like smother. It's too messy too. I find the hot dog very messy.
Yeah, but with a hot dog, you're kind of guaranteed that it's not going to kill you. Like you can have an undercooked hamburger, an overcooked, really tough hamburger. A hot dogs is hard to, it's always juicy.
That is true. That's the risk I'm willing to take for that sweet, delicious beef.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
A hot beef.
Well, I guess we're at the end of the show now, and Jeff Mader is going to be the comeback kid.
Oh my God.
I agree that the hamburger is better, and you have
You
that
you agree with sweet, delicious beef?
I do.
Oh, I should have known. You served us hamburgers. Yeah.
Jane is
I didn't
arguing.
know who the host was.
Jane, you're trying to argue that street hot dogs are good, so
Oh, they are. They're so good.
The Polish ones are pretty good, but the New York City hot dogs are terrible.
well, the Polish ones are sausages. Those are awesome.
Right, so they're not hot dogs. That's true.
Yeah, the friggin' the hot dogs.
Sausage over hot dog for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I know you disagree.
Yeah, I love hot dogs.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Jeff wins.
That's it. Congratulations.
All right,
Jeff.
back-to-back wins for Jeff. I mean, I should be the host next time. That's what I think.
Who wants to host?
Hey,
next time?
well, yeah, I think we can arrange.
Well, I guess we'll be back in a month or so.
Thanks for hosting, Chris.
Thanks for
anytime.
hosting, Chris. And yeah, we'll be back for next month. This is the voice of Dave Mader, by the way. For the next edition of Trivial Debates, make sure to subscribe and to follow us on all our channels. And yeah, Jeff, you want to host the next one?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thanks for the comments, Jody.
I think Jody's in the staging area down there. Okay,
He's
so
like-
all right. Well,
like-
thanks everybody, and we'll check you next time here on Trivial Debates.
I won. My sweet beef took it home.